And we're rolling. What up, YouTube? This is the mystical one, the Mystical Carter, aka Romeo Diamond, coming to you live from my whip. As always on the move. Today, on the conference call, we have exclusively the Morgan Fire. Morgan Fire, say hello.
Hello.
And we have Mrs. Candeleria. Say hello, sweetie.
Hello, tubers.
What it do? What it do? The point of these conference calls is to reach out to my fellow witches and pagans all across the globe. Get a little networking thing going on. Morgan Fire, you want to start this one off?
You can keep going.
This guy, okay. So, Miss Candelaria, me and the Morgan Fire were talking about the famous Book of Shadows. Do you have a Book of Shadows?
I do. I do have a Book of Shadows.
Awesome. And is your Book of Shadows more traditional, if you don't mind me asking? Or would you have a few things in there that you wouldn't find in the most common Book of Shadows?
Well, I gotta say, I started off a Book of Shadows that I was going to... It's like a pretty little notebook, and I found that it wasn't working for me. So I just expanded it and I put it into a bigger binder, and it's organized into the following sections. It started off with education, where I fill it in with my notes, my research information, that I might find online, any news articles, any flyers or events, any witchy events that I might want to attend throughout the year. I then have a section for just the gods and goddesses and divines. For example, right now I'm working with Elegua, so I have a page or two just dedicated to prayers that I might find online, or his correspondences, for example. And I'll do that with also goddesses and gods that I do research. I have a section for my tools, which is probably the most helpful section to me. This is where I keep all the tables and correspondences, charts, information about the elementals and elements and elixirs and potions and herbs. I keep that all there. Then I have a section for spell and ritual ideas, where sometimes I'll be online, I'll research, I'll read something really interesting, and I say, oh, I might want to try that for later. So then I'll keep a little section, I'll print it out, or I'll write something in, and I'll save it for later. Then I have a section for my rituals and spell work that I've completed, and that's the section where I put, the day, the time, the moon phase, any deities that I choose to work with, any spirits I call, everything from herbs that I might use and oils, incantations. I'll keep in that section a little bit more organized. And finally, from time to time during ritual, I will do divination, or I might do divination on another day. So I have a whole section for my divination notes and reading. And I find that, the binder with the tabs, really nice and organized, helps me stay very, very organized and on top of what I'm doing. So I hope that answers that question.
Wow.
And I have a question. And is your Book of Shadows set up for the next generation, or is it more useful to you now?
Oh, there you go.
Can you repeat that question, please?
Yeah. Is your Book of Shadows set up for the next generation, or is it more helpful for you now in the present?
It is helpful for me now in the present. Of course, I keep myself organized for the future in case I need to look back. So I guess it's a two-parter, right? It's useful for me in that I can pre-plan what I'm doing, but it also helps me in the present in that, I'm constantly, every day I go through it, I get ideas, I link some things together, I make my you know that I like to be neat, a little more neater about things. So.
Awesome. A conversation that me and the Morgan Fire was having, which is why we brought this up. We got into kind of like a little debate between the two. I said it would be good to have a Book of Shadows for you in the present, and to have a separate Book of Shadows if you ever want to go into teaching. And
Okay.
I said that, well, my personal one, it sounds about as big as yours. I have a 2-inch 3-ring binder, and right now I have the stuff for the future generation also in there. I just haven't made copies and separated them yet. But like in my Book of Shadows, you'll probably find some things you probably won't see nowhere else. Like I have cooking recipes. I have hand-to-hand combat. My homeboy's Bruce Lee. Love Bruce Lee movies, so I got a little section in there for him. Martial arts, just to get a feel of who I was as a person. During this phase of my life when I got into the craft, those were like some little sideline things that I was also getting into.
That's pretty fantastic.
Yeah. If anybody watched my videos, you'll see that I also have like a survival kit video. So I got like a few things about that in there.
Oh, that's interesting.
Just for kicks. So if anybody was to get past my personal Book of Shadows, like if something was to happen to me and somebody was to pick it up, they would know what was going on in my life at that point in time. And if for some crazy reason the world went back to the Renaissance or something, they'd also have a few hand-to-hand combats in case somebody ever tried to take it from them. They have a few moves up their sleeve.
Nice.
Where they can get the witch hunters up off of them. You know what I'm saying?
I also have something that's a little bit different. And I guess this might relate more to the question of, is my Book of Shadows more for the future generations? I'm very interested in the shift that we are all experiencing now, and that we are all a part of. And I've been researching the 13-moon calendar, and the concept of 2012 and beyond, so to speak.
Right.
And so, in my Book of Shadows, for example, I have a prayer to the 7 galactic directions.
Oh.
Which is more than just the 4 elemental directions or 4 quarters as we know it, but actually 7 directions where we include the above, the house of heaven, and the below, the house of earth, as well as the center as the galactic source. And I got that from, if you want to look it up online, it is located at lawoftime.org. So that's what I got. Just like you got your Bruce Lee, I got my galactic 13 moons, extraterrestrial, new calendar stuff going on in my Book of Shadows as well.
That's what's up. I can follow you on that a little bit.
And what we were talking about is what pantheon or what traditions, cultures are you drawing off of?
That's a good question, because I'm very eclectic at this time. I go with what follows me and what calls to me. And I had this discussion with the Morgan Fire the other night about how if deity visits me in a dream or in a vision, I will honor that deity through an altar, through prayer. He gave me a great advice, which is putting up pictures on my desktop, on my laptop, for example, as a way to honor the deity or elemental or anything that comes in. I do use, I love working with the Norse gods as well, with Odin and Freya, and the Norns. I do like to work with angels, and I hope to get into working with elementals pretty soon. I'm into fairies and elves as well, so we'll see what happens. You know, whatever guides me, whatever comes through to me, I will honor that.
Because MysticalCarter was talking about eclectic witches, drawing up all the different traditions and how this affects the Book of Shadows and the future generation.
Right. It gives
Yes, I'm definitely of Latin descent. I'm actually half black, half Puerto Rican.
That's what's
So,
up.
but I have I'm not that dark skinned, but and as much as I have African roots, I also have European roots in me. So, you know, I've had Celtic gods come into me and present themselves to me, and I have to honor that just as well. But one of the things that I've been doing since I was 9 years old that brings me closer to deity, which I didn't realize, was dancing bomba and plena, particularly bomba. That is the Afro-Puerto Rican tradition of the slaves from Puerto Rico that came from West Africa and practiced these Yoruban traditions and language. So, you know, I've been drumming and dancing and singing and playing maracas since I was 9 years old.
Wow.
And that even now to this day it continues to bring me closer to deity, especially because now I'm dancing and singing and drumming with purpose, if you know what I mean.
Right. I'd love to see that in a future video.
And that's a good thing that we are exploring ourselves and finding out that there's not just one tradition or one culture that we draw on, because our blood, our cultures, our family, genetics and stuff might be drawn up all different cultures. We might be, you know, European roots, and we might have African roots, and might have American roots. And all these different cultures will call up to you at their own time.
Right.
They certainly do.
So I feel that it's great for us to have eclecticism. But my opinion on eclecticism with that idea would be we should keep things traditional, but keep to ourselves.
How so? Can you explain that a little further?
Do you hear?
Religion.
Wait,
And being
can you repeat that? I think you came out.
with voodoo being synchronized with Catholic saints, then you would want to keep it more traditional as far as calling on the African saint and honoring this synchronization between them. Because when in eclecticism, we can blur things together. We can blur or connect different deities together that really should not be connected.
Yeah, that is true. I try to, if I'm going to do ritual, and I'll open up and close with one deity. And if I work, like, for example, on a 7-day ritual, as I am right now, for example, I'll make sure that I stay within that